This is my Canon AE1, my 60D, my Canon 5D Mark III, and this, my friends, is a fan. Looking at some of the reviews and some videos on YouTube, I decided to get a fan because I ordered this. Hi guys, welcome back to yet another video. My name is Asad and this is a channel all about cinematography, photography, and we do a lot of tech reviews and things of that nature. Also on my channel you will find Lightroom tutorials, presets, and all of that good stuff. So if you're interested in that, do check some other videos out on this channel and don't forget to subscribe. If you guys are a long time subscriber or follower to my channel, you guys may have noticed that I've mentioned several times that I was waiting for 1DX Mark III, but then they announced this EOS R5 and I was like, I'll wait so that, I can get a mirrorless body rather than like a big bulky camera because, if that's the future, right? So mirrorless cameras are coming up by all the companies. EOS R, when it was announced, I was very much interested in that, but it had some limitations, especially around, slow motion shots. It cannot shoot 120 frames per second, even at 120p. So that's why I waited and waited. And then EOS R5 news came out with the specs, and obviously, like everybody else, my mind was blown. And I pre-ordered it as soon as I got a chance. So basically, what's happening on the internet right now, you guys are probably seeing a lot of videos that this camera has overheating issues, and it cannot shoot for a long time when you are in 8K or 4K 60 or 4K, other 4K modes as well. So I decided to make a video about it and show you guys, or present my opinion to you guys from a consumer perspective. I, by the way, shoot weddings and I do like a lot of other stuff around that. So what is this gonna mean for me when I'm gonna be in the field shooting? But before we actually do that, let me show you what Peter McKinnon mentioned in one of his last videos. So have a look.
Filming on right now is a pre-production model. It's not the finished camera. But I'm noticing it's overheating a lot when I'm shooting in 4K 120. I don't know if that's because I shoot too much in 4K 120. Maybe it's like, Peter, relax. But the 4K 120, when it's not overheating, whoa. All right, let's get out of here.
By the way, I love Peter McKinnon and I'm a big fan of his. The whole reason of me starting YouTube was Peter McKinnon, and he gave me so much motivation. So coming back to the point, as you can see, like Peter McKinnon was also having issues, and he mentioned that in his last video that when he was shooting in 4K 120 frame per second, he was having some problem with camera being overheated. Mind you, he was using a pre-production model, and we expect that the production model may have a better performance as compared to a pre-production model. Now, a few days back, Canon also gave a statement on this matter, and I'm going to share some screenshots with you and show you what is mentioned by Canon on this topic. What they're saying that they have taken several steps to manage the potential for overheating, including magnesium alloy was used in the body to dissipate heat away from internal components. I don't understand that because all the cameras that are made by Canon pretty much have the same kind of setup. So I don't agree with that being an additional step. Again, this is my opinion. In addition, they are also mentioning that an overheat control function to reduce heat generation when the camera is in standby is also being introduced in this body. If I read further down, like it also mentioned that how in the how you can reduce the heat buildup in the EOS R5. They're saying that set overheat control function on, it's on by default. And then when this function is going to be on, it's going to automatically change the frame rate and bring it to a much lower frame rate to suppress the rise of internal temperature. Also, they're saying that you can use an external fan to dissipate the heat, in addition to avoid putting the camera in direct sunlight. So this is interesting. You can also use an external fan to dissipate heat. I find it really funny. If I'm paying like $4,000 for a camera, why do I have to do that? But again, this is a statement from Canon. I also read on Canon Japan's website that they are coming up with a software update, which is gonna be available right after you get the camera, and then it's gonna be able to shoot 120 frame per second at 1080p resolution as well. Now, if you guys have been following Canon cameras, 1DX Mark II and 1DX Mark III are really good at shooting slow motion 1080p 120 frame per second. So I am like thinking about like this along the same lines, like this EOS R5 may be better than both of the other two bodies. So we'll have to test it out when it comes out. Now, what are my thoughts as an everyday user or somebody who shoots wedding professionally, or like use the cameras for professional use? I may not be using 8K very often, or maybe not at all, because I know the limitations with 8K, like the file sizes are going to be huge, and it's going to be a painful task to edit 8K footage. That's one thing. So I'll only be using that if I am getting like a very big or gig or something that requires me to shoot 8K, which I don't see in my day to day, or like the work that I am doing. I'm more interested in shooting 4K 120 frame per second, but again, that is a specialty mode again, and you're not gonna be shooting for hours and hours using that mode. So again, not gonna be doing that from the kind of work that I'm doing. So I'm only gonna be using 120 frame per second at 4K resolution when I am trying to slow some action shots down, which are happening in a very quick sequence. So if I want to slow something down, I want to be able to have that 4K 120 frame per second option available. And if you mix it with the regular modes and you use the 4K 120 frame per second mode in combination, I don't see you're gonna have that much issues with overheating using this camera. Also, if I just mentioned that, like the camera that I'm using right now is 5D Mark III, and this only shoots 1080p, and I am upscaling this to 4K. You guys let me know in the comments down below that if you can see any quality, issues or anything that is not looking like high quality from, image quality perspective or resolution perspective. I'm using a 16 to 35 f2.8 lens on this. So that's another thing to consider too. Like, since these cameras have bigger sensors, you don't always have to shoot in the highest resolution to get the best quality results. So you think about those lines as well. Sometimes shooting in 1080p or like even like 4K resolution, like I mean, will be good enough as compared to going to shoot 8K footage. So I don't see this as a potential issue for my day-to-day use and even for professional use as well. So these were some of my thoughts on the EOS R5, and I I hope that will help you in clarifying some of the confusion or like overheating issue that are being discussed online. If you're on the fence whether to buy this camera or not, I think if you use it in combination of different frame rates and the way I am planning to use it, you will not encounter overheating issues. So stay tuned to my channel, subscribe if you haven't already, because we are gonna be doing an unboxing of EOS R5 when I receive it from B&H, and we'll also test it out in all modes and see if we are gonna have any overheating issues. On that note, I am gonna sign off and I'm gonna fly this thing. Yes, I have moved to 5-inch quads. So, again, I got into FPV drones like 6 months ago, and this is my third build. So if you are interested in these videos, like, check some other stuff on my channel out. And I'm gonna see you guys actually next week. So on that note, Goodbye.
I saw the city passing by my window. Was in the crowd, but I felt so alone. Looked at my phone like every other second. My future was blurry